let's talk about the Griffin. I'm going to try and tame a Griffin and go over it here on Fjordur. Here are some GPS locations, and here we are on the map. Up nearby that lake, I know my fingers are kind of covering the arrow, but this area of Fjordur, it sticks out a lot, and I know I just showed what I'm going to use to tame it, but this Griffin, I was trying to go for this one, but they attack everything, they're very aggressive, they're very rambunctious, they kind of do what they want to. They're amazing tames though, so it's worth it. Now, this Griffin, yeah, he's all bloody, he's getting wrecked, and Griffins, I'm going to be using a long neck rifle, but still their hit points, you got to be careful when you're taming them. I would not recommend using a crossbow. I recommend using a long neck rifle at the very least. Now, they are pretty easy to spot though. That one had a little dust cloud going around it, so he was pretty easy to spot. We are going to be using a trap and using a pteranodon to lead it into the trap. I'm not going to go over the trap too much because I want to give credit to Captain Fat Dog, who created that trap, created the design, and he has a channel where he goes over the building, so definitely check him out. And now I literally spent like 2 minutes on that trap, and now I'm going to try and find that Griffin, or just find another one. There are a lot in this area. Yep, okay, so we've got two, it looks like, up there. There's a great war in the sky going on, and we're going to interrupt it. Let's see if we can get one of their attention, or maybe both. I don't know, I have no idea what's going to happen here. Alright, this is, oh, there's one. Alright, maybe it'll follow. Okay, are both of them following me? Alright, so give me a second. Alright, we're just gonna go in here and give a love tap to, I don't know, I think we hit the RG. But I hear the music. Alright, this one's definitely paying attention to us now. Now, if there were other creatures in this area, it might aggro to them, but it looks like we're good to go right here up in the mountains. Now, I am going to have to drive it back down into the trap, but the speed we have is pretty good. If you do happen to slow down and it does hit you, it might turn around like this. That turn radius is horrendous for the Griffin. We're just going to ease into the trap right here. And alright, nothing to it. Now, obviously I've taken a couple hits. Might be good to get a Pteranodon with some boosted health. Get some levels into health, stamina, and weight. Make sure it's fast enough. But yeah, we just opened the doors on the trap and it is good to go. So again, this is a low level. Level 50. So again, check your rates, check your server stats. My taming speed is boosted, but this will not affect the resources needed in order to make this thing go to sleep. So we're going to use a journeyman long neck rifle. You can do this with a primitive long neck rifle, no problem. But again, I would recommend the long neck rifle versus the crossbow, so we aren't doing that much damage, because these guys can be a little sensitive. So again, check Dotadex and check your server status to make sure you have all the resources you need. I would also recommend keeping some narco berries, some narcotics, or even some biotoxin on hand, because as soon as this guy goes to sleep, he's going to drop his torpor quite quickly, as we'll see right here. And this being a low level, he's not going to have that much torpor to lose really, but we should be fine. I don't really have much to worry about during this tame, but for the higher levels, I would definitely recommend keeping some narco berries at the very least. Alright, so now we've got to feed it some food, because that's how this tame works. Now, you do want to refer to Dotadex to see what the best taming food is, and to see how long and how much. My taming speed is at 4.0. And since this is a level 50, I am not going to use extraordinary kibble on it. I can't really justify using the highest tier kibble and all those resources on that thing. So I'm going to use mutton. And I have an Ovis farm just ready to go. If you are earlier in the game and you don't have access to Ovises, or you don't have access to taming Ovises, you can use other things, but mutton, raw mutton, is definitely the way to go. Now, mutton doesn't last the longest. Mine is lasting 9 minutes right now, and I'm going to put everything that can spoil into my tame, and see, it went up to 36 minutes. Now, it's definitely not going to take us 36 minutes to tame this low-level Griffin, but if you're on official servers, or if your taming speed isn't boosted, it can easily take you half an hour or longer. So be prepared for that. Make sure your food is either in a tame or in a fridge somewhere, or you have just access to whatever food you're feeding it. definitely don't want to start mixing up the food. If we're feeding it mutton, we're going to stick with mutton. So he has been starving for a little bit. His food has dropped down just a hair, not by too much. So he's going to probably start eating as soon as we feed him, which is perfect. Yep, there he goes. And yeah, you can see my rates are definitely boosted there. Two nibbles and he's almost tamed. But you'll see this third feed, it does take a second. So even with boosted rates, you might be waiting for a little bit. Just make sure you're in a safe spot. Make sure no other griffins are around you to mess things up and mess up your taming effectiveness. But we should get this griffin here in a second. Alright, there we go. So yeah, traps, definitely a huge shout out to Captain Fat Dog. It makes it so much easier. Now, the Griffin, you can either use a cryopod to get it out of this trap, or you can just close the doors and kind of maneuver your way out of here, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn him around. We're going to shimmy our way through the back here, but no saddle required. You can go ahead and hop on these guys, and as soon as you tame them, and they are excellent, excellent travel mounts. Now, this is a low level, definitely not going to use this one for fighting, or really even for much, honestly. But if you were just starting the game, this would be a great way to get around the game. As you can see, look at this maneuverability. He can strafe, it can hover, get you great angles to kind of scope out the landscape. We're going to take off our taming tracker, don't need that anymore. Another great thing about the Griffin is you can use some ranged weapons on top of it, and you can have a pretty good view, or a wide range I should say. Now you can't look right behind you unless you are unequipped with everything. To my knowledge, see, I can look right behind me, but I have nothing in my hands. So if you want to use a weapon, it'll only let you go all the way to the sides. But that's still pretty good if you're taming something. Definitely makes it a little bit easier in my opinion. Now traveling, you can sprint, fly, aiming straight to the ground. You can get a little boost going there. The farther you drop, the better the boost. And we're going to go over a secondary attack real quick. You got to come in at the swooping speed. It does give you a little bit of time. And if you saw that, it did 220 damage. If you also saw it hit the RG with its left claw, as opposed to that hit right there, that was its usual attack with the right claw, only doing 31 damage. So you can already see some uses just from that second attack. But unfortunately, I did mess up. I was having a little bit too much fun and I was not paying attention to my stamina, especially this only being like a level 70 something now. The stamina on this is not that great, so we had to make a little crash landing. We did take care of the RG, and well, with that being said, I definitely want to put these points that we just got into my stamina. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Even with the higher level tames or higher level griffins, I would get your stamina up, as well as some health, and then of course damage. We're also going to do another attack. So we've got 3 attacks in total to my knowledge. We're going to do this dive bomb attack. Can't really see the creature, but it was down there. Poor little Dilophosaur, he got a dive bomb there. So again, that did about 135 compared to our regular attack, which was about 31. So 2 different attacks, stronger than a normal one. You can use those how you see fit. And there's also a passenger seat, so you can have up to 2 people on the Griffin. And I don't know about you guys, but the first thing that comes to my mind is 2 people on the Griffin with a long neck rifle and some trach darts to make some taming really easy. Definitely recommend that. Now there are some downsides to the Griffin, unfortunately, besides the stamina that runs out way too quickly. It does not have a mating setting, so you can't have Griffins starting families, you can't have baby Griffins, you gotta tame them out in the wild, and that is it, unfortunately. I wish they would change that, maybe one day, we'll see. But yeah, highly recommend the Griffin. Oh look, he's come back for revenge. Now we could pick this Dilophosaur up. Griffins can pick up smaller creatures. Not quite like the RG, but they are capable of picking up small creatures, such as that one. But that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.